Hello Vlogalogue, how are you? I am late in making this video, and I've only kind of just realized, oh yeah, I have to do that. So yes, 3 out of 5 ain't bad for this week. We talked about advertising, and Spoo's kind of silent contributor, noisily typing away in the comments on the importance of journalism. And journalism is... I'm biased because I work for the news media, the online media, and that wince is kind of intrinsic whenever I talk about my employer. But he talks about kind of the importance of, I don't know, I'm just talking about what's supposed to. But anyway, he talked about the importance of journalism as kind of a mediating force, and that we have this problem where we have undervalued it. And I think that that's probably fair, but if you look at it from a market perspective, it feels like we are saturated with content that is purporting to be journalism that is perhaps not, or certainly not to the caliber that we might extend the, this is the reason, at least in the United States, this is the reason that we have freedom of the press, to protect this BuzzFeed Listicle, which is a funny word. Nothing against BuzzFeed. The same goes for just about every publisher, mine included, these days. And I think we're at a point where, because there is so much out there, and that the word count is shrinking, and the number of pictures and animated GIFs is increasing. We're at a point where it's hard to look at media and say, yeah, that's the sort of thing that we need to be investing money in, because it feels like, all things considered, if most of that were to go away, we wouldn't be losing much. Now the problem though is that by doing that, we do lose that. If you slash the budget of all news media, then all of a sudden the kind of in-depth journalism, the stuff that is supposed to act as a check and balance against government influence and against societal pressures and that sort of thing, is also hurt, and perhaps hurt even more because it doesn't benefit as much from clickbaity type of headlines. So I mean, that's an interesting point. There's one thing that's really kind of unique, I think, about journalism in particular, and that is that it's kind of one of the very few industries that we can't bail out, because the instant that we have, if we had some sort of government program to fund journalism, well, then all of a sudden you lose the impartiality there. So I think it's a valid concern. At the same time, I think that there's probably an extent to which, if the money is not as lucrative as it once was. I mean, part of the thing is that a lot of the money that had been going to television, entertainment television, not just news television, is now being put into media. We don't have a clear division like we once did between content that is entertainment and content that is meant to be capital J journalism. And so if some of that money goes away, I think it's still possible that the scarcity of journalism would increase the value of real reporting. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. The whole thing was, we were supposed to be talking about ads. Yeah, I've worked for years trying to make ads a better experience, and I'm jaded now because I feel that all of that work has been taken advantage of to say, okay, well, given that you've made this a slightly better experience, that means we can throw 10 times as many ads at people and increase the requirements. And there's the IAB, Internet Advertising Bureau, which I have a huge conflict with at the moment. But so yeah, I'm perfectly fine with ad block. Okay, so yes, this week, question of the day. And this is something that I've personally been struggling with, and why not air my own dirty laundry as prompts for Vlogalogue, because That's a reasonable thing to do. So we have there's then this. At least when I was a kid, there was very prevalently this idea that you were a math and science person or an arts and humanities person. And I apologize, I may be repeating a question, but we have plenty of new people, so new ideas. You kind of fell onto one side, and there's. In the last, 10 years or so, there's been a lot of like, nope, that's not true. We think with both sides of our brain, and it's not, and the brain doesn't even work like that. And also, creative people are sciencey, and science people are creative, and blah. Fair, but I think, at least personally, I still feel like there is a perception of that dichotomy. That I feel like the two things are separate, and I feel like I engage with them in different ways, and I feel like I struggle with one side far more than the other. Particularly that I struggle in creative pursuits far more than I struggle in analytic pursuits. And I guess the question that I would ask for Vlogalogue this week is, do you find that you have a similar view, or do you feel like, nope, I'm good at everything, or nope, I'm bad at everything? Do you find that there's a particular area where you're just like, freaking math, I don't understand how to math, or art, what is it even? I can't figure out the formula, f of x equals art, and I don't know what x is. I don't know. But in particular, if you do find that you have a kind of a preference for one or struggle with one, what are the things that you struggle with in the other, on that side of it? I'm interested to know if people feel like, nope, that the whole idea of a split is, arcane and stupid now, we're reasonable, or you really, we do kind of feel like, yeah, I'm not a creative person, or yeah, I'm not a sciencey person. I will be interested to know what people have to say, and I will talk to you next week, Vlogalogue. Bye.